E-mini is down though. It's kind of sideways yesterday, and now just slightly lower. Boom, 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 boom. And then Bitcoin. Bitcoin did come off of its ridiculous prices a little bit yesterday. Yeah, they might. We'll see what they're gonna do. I don't think they can hold these prices for very long. All right, well, they're in chat, so let's get into chat again. Hey guys. You guys there? Oh, okay. I see. I see what's going on. Interesting that so much volume is traded at 31.5 and not at 120. Well, I'm just gonna sit and watch this for the first few minutes. Eat some food. Mm. Yeah, so something that I find really strange about the liquidity today is, first of all, it's a lot lower than it was yesterday. Like most prices, we were doing 4 and 5, and now most of them are 30, 35 or so. But then there's a big order at 27 down at the bottom, just one tick below the low, and there's nothing of that sort on the highs. I am kind of tempted to sell it here. It's because there's this edge here. Somebody's absorbing at the bottom. But, well, I mean, there's 3,000. I don't know. I think there's an iceberg in the 5-year. We're just going to be patient and see if we get it filled. We got a good position there. Okay. Yep, I saw that one, and now we're just chasing. Okay. It has not taken a step back at all. Yeah, they're probably, if you got short at 31.5 and your 4 is 29.5, I've found that when you get at +4, they're always going to make it a little bit difficult for you to get out. See what I mean? Yeah. It's like that 4.
I mean, that's all you need, right? Every day, just like 4 ticks, 3 ticks, like
It,
that. 3 to 4.
it just kind of depends, I guess. Lately, I've been having a hard time even getting four. Like a single run that goes 4 ticks and you get filled on both sides has been hard lately.
I was hoping it over at 29 that tick up.
Yeah.
I'll take my profit today compared to the last 3 days.
So what I typically do when I get a scalp like that and I'm not 100% sure that it's really going to push lower is I wait for a price that's going to trade both ways. Like this 30, it's gone bid and offer and they've put decent size on both sides. That's usually an indication that um, you know, it's easy to get filled there, but it's going to be harder to get filled at 29 half or to sell 30 half. So that's when I'm like, okay, it's a balance. That move is over. Get out and wait for the next one.
Yeah. I'd like to trade more contracts. Half off. I don't actually have enough.
It sure does look like they might just take it further. Or no, that 29 half got weak a little bit too easily.
Yeah, but we're starting to get at overnight range. That's what I'm looking at. Things I'm trying to be really cautious about today. First, that we're at the highs, expecting a breakout. But the contracts traded at the high, then it.
Oh, whoops, sorry. I turned it off.
I guess you were talking during.
Oh, I was saying that the thing that I noticed from yesterday was that, like when it's doing everything that it's supposed to, we tend to trend. And when you start seeing all these aberrations, there tends to be a reversal coming. Like when we were up at the highs there, and there was pulling at the high, which was kind of unusual. And I thought that normally that would be an indication that we're going to go through that level. But then nobody traded into it and we reversed. So right now I'm not seeing those aberrations.
Yeah, that trade I took earlier, right? That the iceberg. I mean, it was sitting at like pile. one pulled and it back up. So the number slowly shrink.
Yeah, well, they had been hitting it for a while.
It was holding for a while, like 13, 14,000.
Well, so I mean, like with an iceberg, because it's really hard to predict if they're gonna, not even just if they're gonna go through an iceberg, because I found that most of the time they actually do get through the iceberg, but then it'll go bid again, and then maybe it can reverse, right? But I think that the real indication of whether it's going to do it is how persistent they are in hitting it. Like, if you see like 2,000 contracts hit it and then nothing for a long time, and then maybe they try hitting it again, it's kind of like that one might hold. But if you just see a consistent trickle over a really long time period, that's kind of an indication that this action is kind of slowly bringing in more sellers. I don't know if that's like a huge edge, but that's just kind of my observation. That one I still, even with that, I still wasn't sure. That's why I was like, well, let's wait for it to break and then see if they absorb on the other side. And they only traded 539 up into it, and I'm still sitting in the queue at 468. I'm still kind of sitting here thinking, well, I'd like to sell this, but that is the bottom of that range. It could turn around there, and it could turn around there and just go up a few ticks and give us a better entry. So I probably should not mess with it for now, unless the 5-year seems to show us some sort of better indication.
5-year date.
Oh man,
I'm still waiting on that.
Oh, so here, let me show you. I'll post a picture here.
Actually, I'll see. Thank you.
When we were at that 31.5, we were sitting between 122, or sorry, 12 quarter and 12 half in the 5-year, and you see the iceberg there. So when the 5-year did that iceberg, I guess they decided they weren't going to trade it. The 31.91 traded almost immediately, and then the 10-year broke. Oh, how come we don't have a waddle this morning? I should have taken that long at 30. So I have such a good position in the queue at 31.5, I might get it.
Back to where we go.
Yeah, right back to where we were, and we pivoted there at basically a higher low.
30 years.
Well, there was this big order at 22. It's been here for a while.
Wait, wasn't that at 21 before?
No, my chart says that it's been there the whole time.
21. Hold it.
Man, almost nothing sold into that 31.
That that push up faster. I want to open it because I got up there pretty easy. It also dropped pretty easy.
I don't know if the time really matters, but it took less volume to bring us back up here.
Yeah, I did the same. Quick to stop. Double.
Well, I appreciate that you guys are still tuning into YouTube, even though you're in the voice chat. Kind of interesting they hit a nice brick at 120, which in and of itself is pretty much expected, but then almost nothing has gone through in the 5-year. Oh, wait, there you go. Oh, man.
Overnight high just
There must be some news here going or something, because that was a little bit too aggressive.
yeah, there's sorry, 8:30. News reports at 8:30.
Oh, that's not, something's not right. There's way too much volume to have gone through there.
Wall Street. Previously, I was kind of like 5%. I missed it, but it's okay. Just because, like I said, I think this PW went back.
Yeah, I wanted to be along there, but I had that order at 120. So what I tried doing was, just trying a short scalp, like a crocodile. But my buy never got filled. You don't know that all that volume in there really looked a lot like some sort of huge news flash had hit the wires, but I don't see anything on Twitter, so I suppose it must have just been them reacting to breaking over the big order in the 30-year. Man, talk about stops. I was just sitting there thinking, well, would have been nice to have been buying it zero half because there was an iceberg there and 3112 probably could have gotten filled. Maybe I could just buy into one, then it went up 2 ticks. Too late.
Of course, we're gonna take
They're building a lot of volume here. And look at how much the bids are stacked underneath of us in the 30-year. Although they're pulling away when it ticks down. Now it was 1,000, they're at 25, and now it's 300. Well, I'm awfully tempted to take a long here, but we're kind of in this 3-tick range here, and I don't really know what's going to happen. I'll tell you what though, that bust through 120 was, I did not see coming. Man, I thought that buy was gonna get filled, and I was just gonna take one. This is just crazy. That bid at 1/2 is being fishy.
I bought ZB at 15 overnight. I don't know what to do.
Oh, way back at 114, 15, or 144.
144.15.
It's not bad.
I think stocks are really bullish today.
See that line in the chart there was the spot that I was paying attention to in ZB. They did tick through it for a tick, so it could keep going, but
I'm kind of watching. I scaled most of it. Yeah, yesterday, the day after Beige Book, if it's a down day, not very close enough. Watching. I think this area is really important. 27. Start to tick towards 22. I think it's bearish.
I really don't like what we saw there at 1/2, because when we ticked up, that bid looked super strong, and then they ticked down, and well, okay, there you go.
I just got filled on the rest of mine.
Yeah.
It probably goes through the round now. Probably with 503.
I was gonna finish by saying like they're doing something fishy, but I don't know what it was because it looked strong and then it kind of pulled, but then they ended up trading 4,000 there anyways. But then they traded through it anyways, and I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. This is very much looking like strong trending action to me, though.
I think 03s are worth a short.
You buy that one.
There's a Fed speaker talking right now.
Oh, that could be. Oh, that could be.
Fucking price change. Waddle's on Eastern time. He's been talking since 9. Waddle's on Central time. He's been talking since 9. He's talking at a rates conference.
I don't know. I mean, so the first big move up was before he started speaking. I know that, but I don't know. I would have thought that would have been something where like all of his opening remarks would just be released all at once. You know. I guess maybe not.
I can tell you why from a quant scene. But most people think it's gibberish.
Or did some,
How about yesterday from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock, we were down more than 10 ticks.
Hmm. Well, it was a lot of stops, that's for sure. And I definitely did not see it coming. I mean, I thought maybe we could move higher because it had come back so quickly, but for it to just all of a sudden 15,000 contracts trade in the market was I did not see coming.
well, it was the overnight high. Well, people had stops.
Right?
Feeling DB.
I don't know, guys. I don't have any reason to Don't know why I said we had short.
I'm gonna try short 29s. Crazy.
Look at this thing. No one like takes my calls. I'm
I
like,
don't think you should take anyone's calls regardless of that.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of saying yesterday that my experience so far in this chat room has been that reporting what trades you're making is only useful so that people can kind of get an idea of how you trade. It's the important stuff to share is just what your observation is, your overall feeling. And on that part, the thing, it's easier if you just post what your results are. Like you go in and what's your stats for the month or whatever, and post that in the what is it, the performance review channel.
Place for sure. Watch how they push 20s. I think 25 is a good place for sure.
If you could get filled there, it might already be too late. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Like two icebergs battling. Oh god.
Yes, but a small probability to move down.
I think it's a pretty large probability of a move down.
Yeah.
Basically, the last 8 times we're up like this after base book. It's been down 8 out of 8 times since 12 o'clock by 16.6 on average. I don't know. I'm just gonna trade. Hello, guys.
I'm just gonna wait here. And they're still building a lot of volume up here. They may have just caught somebody there at 2.5. I don't know. Yeah, my C Uzi was surprised by that trade too.
Half.
Yep, that's that balance price I keep talking about. This is where, like, if I was in a trade, I'd get out at 0.2.5. And right now, I'm just gonna stay out and wait to see if it gives us a higher low or a lower high. But if you wanted to buy, you're much better off if you're able to get below the 0.25, because you know that the 0.25 is a place that you can always get out at, right? So you buy 0.2 because that's like the best price you think you can get. If you end up being wrong, you might still get one tick out of it. I don't know. I've never seen that kind of volume come through on any other time than a trend day or news. And right now we don't see the news. And what kind of we're getting like this, there was this tons of volume, and now it's giving the impression, at least, that it's not going to follow through. And I can see some guys going short, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. Yeah, I want to offer ZB up here, but those cascades up are something I do not want to get caught in. Yeah, exactly. Although I have to say that 1821 that traded there in the 30-year is this is pretty significant resistance now at that point. Donald Trump tweeted, "Trump recognized Russian meddling many times." And he has a montage of previous times that he's talked about it. Proliferation, cyber tax trade, Ukraine, Middle East, North Korea, and more. There are many answers, some easy and hard to these problems, but they can all be solved. If the US imposes tariffs on cars, it can expect a stronger response than when it slapped levies on steel and aluminum shipments, Japan's trade minister says. Trump looks forward to a second meeting with Putin.
Yeah, we should all probably have like
I don't know. He hasn't said anything supermarket moving for a while, but I always have his panel up on TweetDeck. The hell is my bird doing? You hear that noise? That's so freaking weird. It's been here too long. Put the trash out. Not as much absorbed there as I thought. Well, that 025 was balanced for a while, and now there's not much interest in selling it at all. It's taking a long time to get filled here. They're all gearing up like they want to go higher. Pause, nothing happened. Notice how the auctioning activity will just completely freeze up. At this point, if that gets filled, it's a bad idea. Okay, there's where I would have gotten filled long. Maybe it was the right choice. There it goes. Well, crap. Yeah, you had an order in there at 025 to buy, and then I was like, you know what? If this fills, maybe it's not such a good idea. So I pulled it, and then they went through and tested it, and now we're up 3 ticks.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm like so placing limit. Like if I'm getting filled, it means trying to pin possible.
Well, there are spots where you can know that it's gonna hold, but they're hard to catch. Problem with this one, I really wanted them to come back. I wanted them to come back to like 1 or so, you know. It's just, this thing is just not pulling back. It's trending. And they don't even have to do the level break for it to go higher. They're just plowing through it.
There was like half a second of but I wasn't fast enough. Bye.
Well, I also considered putting in a stop limit, but I didn't do it.
I've actually had a few of those today where I'm like, I mean, I don't know. It's okay for me. I learned a lot.
Yeah. I have a trend. Anytime that there's a trend in the summer, it's always a little weird. I took one trade that was kind of an experiment, and I didn't execute it correctly. Then I haven't actually filled anything else. Well, there was my target at 05. Yeah, big iceberg just below it.
Yeah, so like when it pops up like that and then instantly shoots back down, that's like the same guy, right? It's iceberg.
Yes. So the way that an iceberg works is you have like a quantity like 10,000, and then there's the amount that you're willing to show. So let's say that you only are willing to show 50, and somebody else decides to, you know, clear and bid 100. That'll clear and bid 100, and then when the iceberg refreshes, it will automatically sell again. Yeah. Yeah, so when you see orders going off at 0.45, like on the bid and the offer at exactly the same time, that can still be an iceberg. But if they take through to like 0.50, then it's not an iceberg, it's multiple people trying to push it. Okay, well, there was a big iceberg on the offer at 0.4 and they've gotten through it, and 690 have traded at 0.5. Yeah, and 0.45 is giving a potential level break signal. If it had done this earlier at like the 0.03 halves, then I would have taken it, but here at 0.5 I don't want to take it.
I was gonna say something with 30-year.
But we're talking about 0.3 being a potential short area too, and they sure are having trouble pushing it through that.
Battle of the icebergs. Both. Like the sellers or
Is the guy that bought ZB at 15 still holding it? No, I think he got out, right? Because he was talking about shorting it at 29. Then it went 2 ticks against him, and he kind of thought, oh, I don't know. And then I think he decided he was too distracted and left.
what a volume or half.
Also, what price did you take it at, Uzi? I'm interested to know. Was it at... I'm wondering where it's going to be, given that I sold into uptrending action and got my tick. I'm going to count my losses. But the reason I ask is I want to know where in the volume profile does it end up being? Does it end up being in the middle of one of these, or is it more on the edges? I offered 6 at that 30 you were mentioning as resistance. My bid got filled at 29 right before she took off again. Oh, right. Okay. But so it was in the volume node. That's interesting. But you're right. That was you got super lucky there. Well, continuing to build volume up here says to me that this could go more. I'll take him where I can get him. I'm really mad. It's like, did you see the trade that I took that I got stopped on? I'm super mad about it. So I had a sell in at 119.31.5, and then we pushed down really strong. So I just left it in there, and when we started coming back up to it, when it came back up to it, I was like, oh, I bet you I could buy 31 as it leaves it and take it off at 31.5, and I'll be able to get in and out in only like 5 seconds. And what happened? It ticked up there a little bit faster than I expected. I put it on at 31 and only 587 traded there. So that trade didn't work out. And then I had these ones here. I was right to buy there. It was not the optimal location, so I changed it to an 025, and you can't see that one because I canceled it and never got filled. Ooh, less macros. That's 89 at 05. So this might be my setup. Okay. I don't like that. Yeah. Well, I wanted it to be my exit. So the thing is it was actually a really good trade, and I could have gotten in it much earlier and gotten more out of it. I did not execute the trade correctly. I needed to mark it in to the 31 and then let it take me out at 31.5 instead of waiting for the fill here, because then I have this situation where which side gets filled and whatnot, and that's exactly what happened. So it was a good trade and I executed it poorly. Wrong. I executed it wrong. He's turning around now. Nope. I don't feel like I don't know what it's been this week because I did okay last week, but I don't even feel like I'm really necessarily seeing signals or anything. I might take a step back next week and try some new setups because I just feel really lost. Yeah, I hate jumping into the market in days like this. That seems like the only option, and being generally paranoid, I usually just sit on my hands. I mean, geez, I should be buying it here. Should be buying normal me would be buying it to 07. I'd be going. Yeah. I didn't take the log, yeah. Well, you're only taking one tick. It's not that. It's like all of a sudden I feel like I'm not trading my strategy, you know? And I don't know if you see, as soon as I actually get filled on a long and decide that I'm gonna hold it until the stop, it's gonna turn around on me. And maybe the people in chat might not necessarily be helping. So I feel like I feel like that might be screwing me up some. Because the week before I was almost ignoring everybody. Like, I'd still go into the chat and say stuff, but I was just like completely ignoring any trades that other people were taking. I didn't even look at them. I didn't want to know what other trades people were taking. Want that. That was the right. That's what we do, is harden ourselves. Broadcasting is harder. Yeah. I think that broadcasting it helps in some respects, but I think it takes a little bit of adjustment to listen to what trades other people are taking, because you want to say that it's not going to affect you and you're going to trade your strategy, but it does. And so it might take a while for you to adjust to that influence, Wow. Heck. That was some buy in there, wasn't it? Yep, that definitely does. You have a trade journal, that's a benefit. Yeah, well, and people want to help you. I've learned a lot from people, and people talking about sim, So one of the problems with sim is if you don't take it seriously and you start doing things that you normally wouldn't do, right? Well, if you're broadcasting it, that's kind of an incentive to try. You know what I mean? Not to say that there haven't been weeks where I was like, well, I'm just experimenting and it's probably gonna look awful, but that definitely happens too. But yeah, people will judge you hard. Yeah, well, it was just like that freaking Tucker thing, right? Where he's like, oh, I'll just fade every trade that you make, and it's like, okay, you can do that because obviously I'm not trading super great right now, but no reason to be saying shit like that. Like, why? Man, that pulls and they hit it hard. Okay, so it's this ZF here. They're gonna hold it now. Nothing's hitting into 05. Okay.
Fix.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Looks like you, and then it's down. Take my profit. Like the 30-year was looking. Still looks strong.
And you notice how all of these offers above us are starting to thicken up. Now there's 65, 66 above us, 68 at 08.
I don't really pay much.
Well, so it's kind of okay. So like, if I saw 10,000 at 065, okay, then and it was just like really outsized, and there was nothing even close to it, and all of the prices around it just looked like normal orders. That's when I'm like, that might be a spoof. Something weird might happen there. But when I'm noticing that all of the prices in a certain area are starting to thicken up compared to where they were before, that's when I think it starts to matter. And so I think what you're seeing here is that 07 has been a balance area for a really long time. And I think that there might be some buyers with 7 as their target, and that's why it's kind of acting the way that it is because they're trying to push it that last little bit to get to it. And I mean, that's just my theory, but I'm thinking that you might have a situation where we actually get a stop run up, and they absorb it all, and you could reverse.
Get two icebergs in the way. Times.
Yeah.
I took a short and I lost. Kind of felt like a revenge trade, but at the same time, it felt like. I want to take. Hey, but.
I still think they might get it because the E-mini bounced off of the view out there.
But like on the 30-year, we have those 1250, 1300.
Yep.
Those are kind of big. I know before we had that. Or sorry, 1,300.
Man, so one thing that I think I kind of tried to point out earlier, but I don't know. I'm just always kind of like right now uncertain about everything, and but if we have a move up, like at the beginning of the day, everything was like 3,500, right? you get a move up, and now all of a sudden everything is 5 and 6. You know, that means that new buyers came into the market. That means that that it could continue, and it'll keep going until you get to a spot where there's just too many people long in it. And I think that's kind of where we're at. But I don't want it like 06 half. It's 20. I don't know, that doesn't look like a high of the day to me. You know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna trade anymore today, but if I was, I don't know what the word.
Well, they did not hit the third standard deviation in the 10-year or the 30. They could, and this was where earlier when what's his name was in and saying, I think I might want to short it at 29.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything, but my thought was, well, I kind of want to short it here, but in order for me to do that, I really think that I need to see a failure of some sort, you know, like it try to make a new high and fail or something like that, and then maybe you can.
Yeah. I was on the same boat. I was like, looks like I might want to take a short if it was a bit higher up, but like something, I don't remember what it was, but something kind of but I did.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of like hunch. Sometimes they're good. I want to, you know what I mean? Like I want to be relatively certain on it. Not get upset over
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what my deal is lately, because I mean, I know what to do. And I certainly saw some, I mean, I put some buy orders in, and I didn't hold them, you know? It's like I've got some head games going on still.
Yeah, I've got some issue, and I don't know if this is like a mental thing or what, but in my entire trading history, I'm terrible at this. I don't know why, but I go through my entire history of trading, and I look at them like seriously always.
How far back?
From like last year, I traded a bit.
Okay.
Time held trades. Different. I hold my losing longs, and I don't know what it is. Maybe I just need to like flip the chart, flip the dome, or
Well, so there's two things that kind of two thoughts that makes me have. The first thought is that you really have to go back to like August of last year to get to a period of time where there was really a significant period where there was buying, you know what I mean? Like on a daily chart. The trend has been down for a very, very long time now. But then my other thought is that the market does kind of behave a little bit differently than when we're buying versus when we're selling.
like even like a while ago when I was like, you know, there's some people in the said, yeah, well, the market.
No.
This bothers me.
Well, if it works, have you been profitable in that time period, or are you still kind of working it out?
I mean, I was, then I stopped, and I mean every day I'm in.
What time period was the good?
The best was last year.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I remember there was some pretty good moves back there in the spring.
But I was playing the ES.
Yeah.
I thought it was boring.
Well, I mean, if you're trading the E-mini, especially back then, and you had a bias long, I mean, that was a great thing to have. Man, back then it just would go and go and go.
But like I did, there was a drill. I did like a trading drill. Point and you read that?
Not every 10 minutes, but it's interesting.
Because you flip a coin and heads, you go, tails, you go. I did that, and I ended up like it was on the E-mini. Ended up down like or something. I was profitable on all my short trades.
That's interesting.
I don't know why, or not all of them, but like I had a positive profitable.
And that it definitely acts differently when you're having an uptrend versus when you're having a downtrend. So like, it's really hard to describe because I don't even necessarily 100% understand it myself. I haven't studied it that hard, but it's definitely different. It's like when you're buying, it tends to be like the buyers just all rush in and just blow through things, and when you're selling, it's like everybody just kind of steps out of the way and lets it go.
I get what you're saying.
So there's this book written by this guy. Oh, what was his name? I forget his name off the top of my head, but it's called One Up on Markets, and it's a really good book to read if you want to do stocks as a retail, like long-term investing. And Peter Lynch was his name, and he ran what was basically the most successful hedge fund of all time. And he talked about how he had two people that worked for him that did the trading, and one of his people only bought stocks that they were looking to acquire, and another of the person only sold stocks that they were taking off. And on his last day or whatever it was, those two people decided to switch roles, and they both lost heavily.
Oh, yeah. Like I was talking to my dad about this. My dad traded futures. Like, well, if you're only profitable on your shorts, then go short it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Like, it makes sense, but
especially in equity indexes, you can be a trader that only sells or only buys.
I'd be okay having like, oh, it looks so long, and I'm getting money, and I don't want to take it. Like, maybe it's just a sign I want to overtrade. Probably like, it's like a thing about it because it bothered me for a long time.
Well, you got to keep your stats. So one of the nice things that you can do in Jigsaw's their little stats board, you can go in and you can like categorize your trades and stuff. So it's really good if you're tracking something in there, make a category for it, and then go back and set the category for it, and then after a while you can actually see what the tendencies are for like that exact setup, right? Because the problem with the discretionary trading is that every trade is so different, and so you could be doing something or reading something wrong and just never know it. There's too much noise for you to know that. Oh, Uzi was talking about books. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator is a great book too. If you're gonna scalp, that you have to read that book before you scalp. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, I think. Trading Exchanges, Market Microstructure, and Practitioners. I think I've heard that book before, but I have not read it.
I think I have that. Stock Operator, I just haven't read it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good book.
Yeah, I have the book. I just think I have.
I'm looking at this 07 at 045 now, and that one looks suspicious to me.
I'm actually gonna call it today. Call it a day after my break. Feeling
Yeah, that's good.
next.
It's given that we're gonna sit around here and make you wait to see if we're gonna make a new high or not, and then when we do it, it's gonna be all at once and you'll miss it.
I'm good today. Okay, good one.
Later. There's an uptick that I don't like. My dogs are getting anxious. No. Wait. Yeah, wait. Wait, dog, I'm trying to pay attention here. Probably ate all his food. Well, I probably shouldn't have taken this trade because it's too close to when I want to quit. Yep. They went through that 06 way too easily. Way too easily. Hmm. I do think this 7 is going to hold, but I shouldn't have taken this trade. No! Now I'm just getting ornery because I'm losing, huh? Let's just stop. You know, I said what I said. Maybe there's going to be a stop run higher and then we could short it. And I didn't follow my plan. So I think that tomorrow I need to change things up a little bit so that I'm more focused, because I don't seem to be following any kind of plan or pattern, you know. I'm just taking trades here. So we need to get batten down the hatches and get back to only doing something that we know has an edge. And anyways, post this. Okay, so what happened today? Let's just look. So I had a trade where I executed it poorly. I think it was a good trade. It actually would have been a profitable trade if I had executed it correctly. Could have bought a tick in, but I need to market buy into it. So I think what I needed to do was, you know, I'm just going to put it in here real quick. What I think I should have done is I think I should have had, like, here was my sell. And then I think that I should have put in the other one. Should have been stop limit like this. That's what I think I should have done. So we'll try that next time. If that ever happens again, it's probably unlikely, but we will see. And then I had 2 buys and these were good and I just didn't stick with it. And at that point, I kind of think that's tilted, because I said maybe we could go to 07. We have touched 07. Why was I shorting there at 05 when it was giving indications that it could potentially go further? That did not jive. This buy here, I took a tick. Okay. This trade was just, you know, me giving up. I apologize, but I need to do better at this, right? And I would think maybe part of it we'll be in there tomorrow, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay out of the chat until the very end, and then maybe come in and chit chat. And yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it, because I think that just distracts me too much, and distractions is a big problem for me. The doggo distraction doesn't help. Yeah, I do watch them again. So like what I'll do is I'll go to work, and while stuff is building or tests are running or whatever, and I'm waiting, I will go and rewatch the videos, fast forward it, and identify what the signals I should have been taking, knowing what the action was. So of course they're going to be like, should have, when we saw that first initial move, should have just bought. Anyways, we're just you know, I know that I'm still got problems to work out, so we're just gonna fix these, go back to what we were doing more last week. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.